today on the culmination day of the Web Clinic series. In the marathon 8-week-long Web Clinic series, as part of this unique initiative of SEED Division of Department of Science and Technology, we have covered a long distance since its launch on 15th October by Honorable Secretary of Department of Science and Technology, Professor Ashutosh Sharma. We have conducted 15 web clinic sessions on 4 major identified sectors: agriculture and allied sector, MSME and economy sector, social infrastructure, and cross-sectoral areas. Today, we'll be concluding the web clinic series in its 16th session. We have gathered many learning experiences and identified many opportunities and areas for further work in the process. This web clinic has helped us in identifying new experts, new institutions, resource group, user group, and new collaborators. Very fascinating to know that many ministries, international organizations, knowledge organizations, and NGOs, CSR, and startups, which are new, they have come forward, who were not part of our other groups, have come forward to take this concept of Setu in cross-bridging the science and society to cater to the emerging needs. And we express our gratitude for being with us in this series of discussion. This series of interaction has also put us through technical challenges to reach out to the real community and bring them for dialogue. So to take it forward, we require all of your support, hand-holding in strengthening their networking and the Science-Society-Setu to give a true meaning to the Science-Society-Setu and in realizing the dream of Aatmanirbhar Bharat through an integrated effort. Today, we are continuing with the focal theme on socially relevant STI in the cross-sectoral areas, and especially we'll be discussing about the digital infrastructure of the country and the need for involvement of community for fruitful results, and also the process of zero budgeting and online agriculture and rural marketing. We have today 3 lead talks by the experts from NGOs, followed by panel discussion on emerging technologies. We are extremely honored and privileged today to have the special address by Professor Vijay Raghavan, Honorable Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India. He will be joining us at the concluding session. And this will be concluded by open discussion, and I request all the participants to ask questions and take active part in the interaction. This initiative has been supported and collaborated with the Office of PSA, Vigyan Prasad, along with the knowledge partners FICCI, Agni, WWF, and HESCO. Our sincere thanks to all the knowledge partners, collaborators, experts, and specialists who have been part of this journey. Everyone is requested to provide with the suggestions and challenges that you have been facing at the field level while implementing the programs. By visiting the India Science, Technology and Innovation portal, we have created a special section on the portal for posting your suggestions and queries, even your feedback, technologies, and many more. We'll be sharing the link on the live chat box, and as you can see now on the screen, so we'll share with you also through email, and it will be available on the live chat box. So I request all of you to kindly go to this link and provide all your inputs. This will help us in giving shape and taking it forward. The web clinic is being telecast live on DST, YouTube, and ISTI Facebook. Today's program will be moderated by Dr. Ketaki Bapat, Senior Scientist in the Office of PSA, and Dr. Rashmi Sharma, Scientist, SEED Division of Department of Science and Technology. Sir, now I invite Dr. Debapriya Datta, Advisor and Head SEED Division of Department of Science and Technology, to give his introductory remarks and the entire experience and the kind of an overview of the journey that we have undertaken. Thank you so much. Over to Dr. Debapriya Datta. Thank you.
Could you please access the screen for me? Because I initially thought that what Kinti has told, and after that there is no need. But I see there are some new people who have joined, and I think for their benefit, I will just shortly share the. Yeah. So
Yeah,
good
we can see
afternoon
the
and
screen.
namaskar to all of you. Can you see the screen? Kinkiniji, whether the screen is visible?
Yes, sir, we can.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So
Yeah, screen is visible, sir. We can see. We all.
okay. Well, that's good afternoon and namaskar to all of you, and welcome to the last day of this 8-week long Science-Society-Setu for Aatmanirbhar Bharat. While the conceptualizing and to implementations, and now a little bit of confidence about that the systemic gap, the addressing to certain extent, it gives mixed feeling. It's a feeling like if you are aware about that day, Durga Puja. This is the the day of Navami, when we are going to the end this year's puja and getting ready for the next year's, but this is not the end. This, I think, this is the initiatives what have started to give us the confidence for a much better cross-bridge collaborations in tune to the requirement on the field level. So when we started, many of you who are with us, are aware about, like, because every day I'm trying to give the context. But who are joining first, this is in the initiatives when we started, especially in tune to this, the current, the pandemic situations has created such a conditions. In response to that, the government of India had started the Atma Nirbhar Bharat program, and which is basically the investment in the physical infrastructures. And when we, from the Ministry of Science and Technology, they evaluated it with all the stakeholders, we found that the only physical infrastructure cannot create an Atma, Atma Nirbhar Bharat, because the Atma Viswas and the Atma Sanman, and these are all the components of the Atma Nirbhar Bharat. And for that, you need also the knowledge, the infrastructures across the stakeholders level, from the top to bottom. And with that understanding and this systemic knowledge gap, there are systemic gaps in S&T absorption capacity of the community, and the knowledge updations of the voluntary organizations, the community-based organizations, and the startups, orientations organizations to address local problems to science, technology, innovations. And for strengthening this vocal for local, you got for our honorable Prime Ministers, we thought that the opportunity this COVID has given us, the virtual world, should be utilized by the launching this virtual platform, the dynamic platform for striking a dialogue. And that's the reason we called it as web clinic. It is not in webinar, like in where the knowledge, the providers or the other side of the solution seekers, they come and tell their story. So we have divided that all these 8 weeks into and aligned to these 5 thematic areas of the of these Atma Nirbhar Bharat, that agriculture allied sectors for 3 weeks, MSME economic sectors in 2 weeks, social infrastructure 2 weeks, and this week is for the cross-sectoral areas. And in each week, these 2 the days, one day we have dedicated for the STI for the society, where the knowledge organizations have spoken to directing towards the NGOs and the CBOs and the startups, that what are the technologies we have, the ready technology which can be taken forward. And also the next day, like today, the NGOs and the startups, they are talking about that what is their experience in in terms of the locally relevant knowledge development and the knowledge capacity building of the community, as well as the opportunity what they create in collaborating with the knowledge organizations in order to make them relevant for this the Atma Nirbhar Bharat. So I think each of this week we have tried to find out the interventions, the ideas and the collaboration on in the end of this. Before during the concluding sessions, I will share with you like what is our experience still. We have tried to develop this as an dynamic, the platform in terms of the problem challenges and these, ideas. But here we haven't been successful much because that needs probably a more concentrated and efforts, as well as change in the in our attitude of making this the virtual platform. So today, the last day, the cross-cutting ideas what we're talking about, other than the sectoral things, there are many issues like the issue of the data, the issue of the the cross ministerial, as well as the inter and intra departmental collaborations opportunities. There are many new type of the technologies which give, especially the ICT and the new ICT emerging technologies, give these cross collaborations that strengthen the cross collaborations backbone. So how this can be a part of our this the knowledge infrastructure to strengthen this Aatmanirbhar, the Science-Society-Setu for the Aatmanirbhar Bharat. And so with this approach, we are here on the last day of that, and I hand it over to my colleague, Dr. K. Bharat from the Office of the Principal Scientific Advisor, and I thank all of you to be with us. And but as I have told that the Navami Rat of Dashmi, that doesn't mean it's an end. This is the end of 1 year. The next year we must make the preparations and very much. Dr. Ketaki, please.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Datta, and I welcome all our viewers for this session of lead talks for this last session of the web clinic. And all our speakers are quite eminent speakers. So before I introduce them, I thought I will just make my humble request to all, because I understand all these experts, they have done immense work, and it is very difficult and challenging to summarize effectively all the aspects and all the important lessons in this 15 minutes time. But still, I will humbly request all of the speakers of this session to complete their presentation and the sharing of their experiences in, even though the 15 minutes are allocated, I was thinking whether you can do it in 40 minutes, so that 1 minute we can take the questions, some questions from the audiences, so that they will be benefited. And all the participants are requested to put their questions in the chat box, as everybody knows, so that we can take it up. So let me, without wasting time, I will just introduce our first speaker of this session from the Deshpande Foundation, who is Sri Ranna Rote. And he has done, the Deshpande Foundation, as everybody knows, it is an NGO working with lakhs over farmers. And a lot of more than 10,000 youths have been trained by this organization, and also supported startups and grassroots entrepreneurs training they have carried out. Hiranna Rote is heading this program of micro-entrepreneurship, and the program is scaled up to empower women entrepreneurs and develop strategic partnerships with reputed organizations like UNDP, NABARD, etc. And presently, this program is actively being implemented in the state of Karnataka and Telangana. May I kindly request Sri Ranna Rote to please present their work, and let us update ourselves and learn from them. Sri Ranna Rote, please. Thank you. Sri Ranna, are you there?
Can you hear me, Dr. Kirti?
Yeah. Please go ahead. Your slides are also visible. Please go ahead.
Okay. So, in case we missed it, Irana won't be able to join us in this presentation. He is actually in the hospital right now. So from Deshpande Foundation, it would be Aruma, my colleague, and myself, Mrigank, who would be doing this presentation. Yeah, thank you. Firstly, we
Okay.
would like to.
I'm very sorry. Is he okay? Is he okay? I'm
Yeah,
sorry
yeah,
to
he's
hear.
fine.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, doctor. So he's okay.
Thank
He's
you.
fine.
Please go ahead. He's okay. Yeah. Please go ahead.
So, good afternoon, esteemed guests from DST and the different organizations. It's a privilege to be presenting this presentation to all of you. We are very grateful to Department of Science and Technology for giving us this opportunity to share how is Deshpande Foundation thinking in terms of Atmanirbhar Bharat. So Deshpande Foundation, as Dr. Kirti mentioned, is present in four verticals. That is agriculture, micro-entrepreneurship, skilling, and startups. It started as a grant-making organization in 2007, and over the years, we period of 2 to 3 years, organization in these four. The goal of Deshpande Foundation is to impact 10,000 villages in Karmabhubi, Karnataka, and Telangana. And what do I mean by impact is simply one indicator is we want to increase the GDP of each of these 10,000 villages by at least 2x. Coming to the micro entrepreneurship development program, which IRANA is leading, it started in 2011, and we touched upon more than 20,000 villages and more than 20,000 micro-entrepreneurs. Now we have scaled to at least 2x. Pursuing this goal, we were earlier focusing on individual micro-entrepreneurs, but over the period of last 2 to 3 years, we have realized the importance of collectivization, and today we'll be discussing in detail about that. The goal of micro-entrepreneurship program is to have each of the micro-entrepreneur increase their business turnover from 90,000, that is the baseline which we have surveyed, to 12 lakh over a period of 3 years. Next slide, please. So this is the project we'll be beginning over this period, where we are focusing on Kolhapuri artisans. These are present in Athni Taluka of the Belgavi district in Belgaum district. The digitalized hub and spoke model for artisan clusters essentially talks about how the present model of hub and spoke, which is again a form of collectivized production, can have science and technology bring in to improve the efficiency of the production. Next slide, please. Okay. So this animation essentially tells about why are we doing this. So if you see the condition of artisans, there are more than 7 million artisans in India as per the last survey, and their numbers have been decreasing. And most of them work in informal conditions. Even these Kolhapuri artisans, as we'll see later in the video, they are present in a very remote location, and they do not have access to ecosystem services. That is where our focus is on how can we increase their production capacity. So one part is focusing on their marketing linkages and so on, and second part is even in their businesses, how can we make them more efficient for them to be scaling. Next slide. Yeah. So this is the problem which we have been facing, and everybody knows. There are multiple micro entrepreneurs present in various remote locations and rural areas. And then on the right side, we have the customer. So if a micro entrepreneur makes a product in suppose X cost, since the product has to go through this long supply chain, the market value which reaches the customer is almost 3 times, and in some cases it might go up to 10x as well, because of the inefficiencies in the supply chain. The challenges, which the major challenges are, there is lack of market linkage for the micro entrepreneurs, there is lack of information, and because of their remote locations, they are unable to connect to the right customer. A solution which has been proposed nationwide and different organizations already working on it is collectivizing them, so that there is a mutual value sharing between the customer and this collective, and there's a win-win. But moving on to the next level, next slide, please. We have the hub and spoke model. The hub essentially is a common facility center having different facilities like machines. It could be a training place, a storage place, and services like quality checks for aggregated products is done at this hub. This hub is then connected to each of the spokes. So essentially, this model is of decentralized production. The hub acts as the center for providing various goods and services to each of the spokes. Once the material reaches the spoke, there would be a master artisan who would then help the collective artisans to produce the good. In our case, it is the Kolhapuri chappals, and then it would be transferred back to the hub where it would be dispatched to various retailers. So this is one form of the collectivization, which again many organizations are working on, and the focus here is to improve the supply chain efficiency. Another part of it, which has not been much focused on, is how can we improve the production facilities itself? How can we improve the organization of these spokes itself so that tomorrow they can become a major producer themselves rather than depending on the physical hub only. Next slide. This is where the concept of a digital hub comes in. The physical hub was more about the physical flow of goods, the goods. In digital hub, we are adding an extra layer of information flow. So this information flow would be about the information on the product or the order management, the quality checks, and so on. So as you can see, the digital hub, once it receives a order, it passes on the message to each of the spokes that this is the order number and this is the timeline through which it has to be delivered, and these are the quality checks. Similarly, the spokes at that time through this mobile application would actually get to know okay, this is the product specification and this is these are the products we can select and this is the time in which we have to deliver, or they might select it, this is a larger project which we cannot deliver in this particular time. So all that can be easily managed through the mobile application. Similarly, the training part of it. So the digital hub would actually be a central training. It would have both the facilities. The spokes, various members of the spokes could come to the digital hub for the training, and otherwise we will have a digital studio in the hub which would record videos. So essentially we are leveraging the power of kind of moves, edX and all, so to deliver the training to the spokes. Then there would be general meetings and general group discussions, and finally this entire information flow would be managed through this technological platform. Next slide please. So the expected impact here is the focus is on how can we bring in the execution excellence in each of these spokes. So while there are organizations who are concentrating on improving the supply chain, a part of it which is now we are focusing on is each of these spokes can they become centers of excellence. So the master artisan who would be the initial person who would be guiding would actually become a company in itself. So what would happen in that case, the expected impact is that the customer would get better quality of products, it would be a fair price, and they would have innovative designs coming from various clusters of micro entrepreneurs. And on the other end, we would have a Aatmanirbhar micro entrepreneur because they would have access to expanded markets, then increased income, and most importantly, the goal of this project is efficient production so that they can scale for tomorrow and become Atmanirbhar. Thank you. I'll request the team if they could play the video and we can walk you through the video.
Actually, we thought of, we have put up, actually, we have uploaded the video on the portal. If we run it, then there will not be any audio. So can
Sure,
we
can
play it later? Yeah, and Dr. Gupta, yeah.
Possible
So
to play
we will share the link right
now.
in the chat box. Yeah, I will do one thing. We'll share the link of that video which is uploaded on the ISTI portal. Yeah, here it is. And everybody can view it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Aruba, would you like to walk us through the video, please?
Yeah, that will be better because nothing is heard.
Yeah. And this is the story of the village Madhavi, where the cluster development is going on for the leather cluster for Kolhapuri chappal, and the artisans here speak about their problems. So they say how difficult it is. If you see the village, it's not a very great place from where a production, if you compare to a factory. So these are the houses from where the chappal is made. This is the condition in which the artisans work. So if you the problems ranges right as explained in the PPT, right from the remote location to the access to the various aspects of procuring raw material, the issues that they face while excuse me, am I audible?
Yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead. Yeah.
As you see, the problems that they face are the issues that they face are that the raw material the quality of the raw material that they collect right now is itself very bad. And suppose there's a issue to connect with the market. The whole product that they made is not stored properly, and hence it gets since it's leather, it gets issues like the product gets fungus and fungal issues, and then the product is not it cannot be sold in the market. So we need to have a right link in the backward and in the forward, and and this can be done only if they're collectivized with the and at present it's the digital world that's going on, especially after the pandemic. And it is when this pandemic happened that we thought why digital part is not involved in this collective, and that's how this thought has come in. So if there's no audio, we can stop the video also, and the link can be shared later.
Okay, thank you. So thank you, DXT team, for giving us the opportunity. If there are any questions, we will be happy to answer.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing with us your example of cluster strengthening. So our next speaker of the session is Dr. Jagdish Rao Gupala from Foundation of Ecological Society. So Dr. Jagdish has been the chief executive of Foundation.
Madam, Dr. Jagdish will not be able to, join because of the internet. So his colleague is joining. I think in the group it has been written, So
okay,
he has,
so I will not read, but anyhow, this I will tell about this organization in 1 minute, and then let his colleague can take it further. So basically, this organization is really looking for centering for the local and strengthening their skills and other livelihood opportunities. Now, without further ado, I will request, I do not know, please introduce yourself. I do not know your name. Please introduce yourself when you will present to the all audience. And you will be presenting, today's topic is centering the local, the last mile or the first mile. And this is the work you will be presenting from Foundation of Ecological Security NGO. So please, the floor is open.
I think she is Deborah Thomas from here. Yeah, Miss Deborah Thomas.
Yeah. Yeah, so Dr. Deborah Thomas, please, you are welcome for this session, and kindly present your work. Thank you.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Deborah Thomas. I'm presenting on behalf of Jagdish Rao, who was the executive director of the Foundation for Ecological Security and has now taken over a new role as the anchor and curator of the Commons Collaborative and the India Observatory. The first slide is regarding the Foundation for Ecological Security. So FES basically works towards conserving forest, land, and water resources for improved ecological and socio-economic outcomes at the local level. It does this by encouraging collective action and shared governance of these natural resource systems and community stewardship, which is achieved through building of village institutions. So right now, working with our partners and directly and indirectly, we're involved in reclaiming the village commons and help 30,000 villages, and we've helped reclaimed about 8.7 million acres of forests and pastures. And in doing so, and by encouraging this collective action, we are involved in repositioning the metaphorical tragedy of commons as the promise of commons. The next slide, please. This is the slide on data and information and development practice. So as we all know, and increasingly more so, data analytics, information systems, and all of these are increasingly being used in development practice. And it's also evidenced by the series of web clinics that we're having now. But the real question that we need to ask is from whose eyes and from whose perspectives are these systems being created? Are we considering the agency of the village people and the end users? Or are we tending, or is our tendency to design for the people rather than with the people, so that the technology becomes of the people, so that there is a belongingness for the technology and it is integrated into society? And also importantly, are these technological systems isolated from the village systems where they are introduced? Do they speak to the systems of interrelationships and the reciprocities between ecological and the socio-economic domains? So these were the questions that FES was confronted with about say 10 years ago. And so what we've done in Jumps and Starts is to create this intervention, technological intervention called the India Observatory. I hope this is the next slide on the India Observatory. So the India Observatory, under this initiative, we collaborate with various organizations. Hello, am I audible?
You are audible and visible also.
Yes,
Please
you are
go on.
audible. Please continue.
Okay. Yes, sorry. Okay. So the India Observatory is an ICT intervention that basically tries to fix this last mile problem of the gap in access and application of data sets, analytics, and algorithms. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to place intelligible and actionable and contextual forms of information in the hands of rural communities, and importantly speak to these interdisciplinary aspects, socio-economic aspects that we find at the village level. We also try to contextualize them and use them to supplement the decision-making power of village people at the local level. And in doing so, we are trying to bridge this last mile gap in access and application. Next slide, please. So basically the architecture of this India Observatory is that it is essentially built on a database of a large number of data sets, almost like 1,800 data sets, which include both spatial and non-spatial data. It draws from socio-economic databases such as the census, the SECC, etc., ecological databases, biodiversity databases. It brings them all together. And it is presented in a spatial and temporal manner. For example, it enables us to compare, say, the infant mortality of a village with its neighboring district. So we can compare this either within a particular village or spatially across villages, or develop time trends over it. So essentially, how this works is we've built a set of 11 tools and counting over this database. These tools are essentially applications which are web or mobile applications. They are also built, the data platform is built on open source. The tools are built on open source. They are made easily accessible in the sense that they do not need internet to be used. Most of them rely on GPS. And yeah, on the slide, you can see some of the examples. So in the coming 4 slides, I would like to talk about 4 specific tools and analytics that have been developed to give us a sort of sense of the kind of work that is being doing, and how through these tools we sort of try to embody the principle of centering the local, so to speak. So the data platform, as I mentioned before, is the backbone or the foundation or the bedrock upon which these tools and analytics are built. And so what happens is in the 14th and 15th Finance Commission, budgets have been allocated directly for the panchayats. But for this to be used in the way that would be beneficial to the village, it requires the village people to know what are the development trends. And this is what the GPDP profiles, which draw data from the data platform, does. They pick out data from the Mission Antyodaya data, presents it in a visual format, and enables villagers to sort of use this to create the GPDP plans for their panchayat. So it gives them a holistic picture of the village, it enables local decision making, and enhances community stewardship. The next tool that I would like to highlight is the CLART, the Composite Landscape Assessment and Restoration tool. So this is essentially a tool which enables village people again to decide what is the kind of water conservation structure that they would that can be built in their locality. So it's like if I stand in a particular place and I open this tool, the GPS, again, this does not require internet. So the GPS position shows me where I am, and it shows me what is the most appropriate water conservation structure that can be built in this particular location. So as you all can see in the image, it's color coded, which again makes it easy to understand. And each of the colors represent a particular type of land. Say whether the land promotes surface water storage, or whether it allows for percolation, in which case a different water conservation structure can be built. So one of the highlights of this tool, or the aim of this tool, is to channel public investment, like through the Employment Guarantee Act, which is coming through the MGNREGS, and to channel that into locally suited water conservation structure. So we have 2 things happening simultaneously. On the one hand, we have people being able to decide where and what needs to be planned even without the help of local engineers. And on the other hand, we're channeling public investment into structures that are locally suited, and which are proven to be appropriate for that particular area. Next slide, please. The next tool is the groundwater monitoring tool. It's a new addition to the suite of tools, and this essentially meets a gap in the publicly available data on groundwater levels. So as we know, India is a water scarce country. 70% of our dryland districts are in the dark zones as far as water is concerned. And we have depleted our groundwater sources, and in many places the publicly available data is coarse, is not sufficient to be able to take decisions at the village level. Like for example, there might be only data from one well in an area of 200 square kilometers. So FES tries to supplement this CGWB data by crowdsourcing data from people, and make it more granular, and this can be used for local decision making. So the specialty of this tool is that it is participatory, it is also contributive, in the sense that it not only takes involves people in the collection of data, and then it enables enriched downward information flow back to them, and it ensures updated and granular data, because this exercise of collecting data is done twice a year, pre-monsoon and post-monsoon. The post-monsoon phase of water data collection was just completed this October, and it's done in partnership with a large number of NGOs and partner organizations. Next slide, please. So this is the fourth tool that I'd like to talk about today, and this is the GIS-enabled entitlement tracking tool. So something that is of interest to every citizen of the country is to know what are the rights and what are the entitlements that we can lay claim to. And but most often we do not know this information, and this is more so in the case of marginalized communities. What benefits are they entitled to? What all documents do we require to avail the entitlements? What are the formats? Who do I approach? Through this tool, we try to make this information available in a simple manner. And so the idea is that the tool itself or the access to this tool generates demand, and that is what happens on one hand. So where there is demand generation and more increased claim making on the state, and on the other hand, it is the entry of this information into the system enables a more proactive administration, because this tool, it is open and it is accessible to all levels of the administrative hierarchy, beginning from the sarpanch to the block level to the district and to the state and even the national government. So this enables a proactive citizenry. It also enables a proactive government. And next slide, please. So with this, I'd like to come to the penultimate slide, which is what have we learned at FES in order to center the local in the design of socially relevant science, technology, and innovation. The first is to look at how can we center the local, how can we shift agency? How can we put information in their hands so that they are able to make decisions for themselves, to be able to participate in village institutions and local governance? Importantly, how can they understand the technology that they are using? How can they engage with it? And how can they contribute to the STI solutions and platforms? The second is that people are the determinants of technology through participatory crowdsourcing, accessibility of information. Is it possible to increase the number of consultative and concurrent system design processes where people not only receive information, but they are also probably part of the discussions where we are involved in discussions on what information is to be disclosed, what are the formats in which these are to be disclosed, etc. And then importantly is what we like to call the socialization of technology, or the integration of these technology solutions in the workings and the processes of everyday functioning of communities and local governments, because the local is one of the richest sources of data. So on one hand, it is a source of data, but data must also flow back to them, or information must flow back to them. But how do we build capacity in local government and community to be able to engage with this data, to be able to understand the data that is being entered? What are the principles of data? Is there institutional support to maintain standards for metadata, etc.? Next slide, please. And at the end of it, it's what is the meeting ground? How can all of us, how can the government, how can non-government, how can other civil society organizations, how can community-based organizations, how can academia funders, what is our meeting ground? So as FES is involved in the repositioning of the tragedy of commons to the promise of the commons, we also seek to create a knowledge common at the local level. And how can we build such an ecosystem that converges local knowledge, external knowledge, traditional knowledge, historical wisdom, initiatives of different actors? How can we build systems that speak to each other, interoperability? Is there possibility for collaboration where our servers are talking to each other? Collaboration
through technology, collaboration among people, and where we give expression to thought leadership. So with that, I come to the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Have you finished?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Thomas. So, very nice presentation. Now we will, am I audible? We will go to the last speaker of this session, that is on digital technologies and livelihood. Shri Rajat Arora will be presenting the work. Basically, he is from Facebook, and how the digital technologies for livelihood of different communities, urban, rural, and tribal, he will be sharing. And really, it is very heartening to see the digital technologies are a new way of communicating and sharing. At least in this pandemic has allowed us to learn these things. So without wasting time, I would request Shri Rajat Arora. I welcome Shri Rajat Arora for this session to present his work. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much, ma'am. I fortunately got access to share my screen, and I'll make presentation over here. Just 1 second. Hope my screen is visible to everyone.
Not yet. Maybe I think it is in process.
It is with me. Yeah, I can see it, Rajat. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I am able. Yeah, we are all able to see. Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
Perfect. So even before I begin, ma'am, I would love to first of all congratulate Ketki ma'am, Dr. Datta sir. It just started with one small conversation that how do we break barriers? How do we build bridges? And whenever we talk about livelihood development or this great initiative that your department has taken, and I genuinely love the name. It's Science-Society-Setu for Atma Nirbhar Bharat. This is a brilliant initiative, and it's not just like all stakeholders are coming together and brainstorming ideas. With this, Ketki ma'am and Datta sir, you have literally planted seed to break silos, and it's not just job of the government or corporates or NGOs or academia to independently run in silos. If we all come together, magic definitely can happen on the ground. So with that, I would love to kickstart my presentation. So today we face a health and economic crisis on a global scale. This entire pandemic that we are seeing right now has accelerated some existing trends and created some new threats in our society, both social and economic threats. We are absolutely sure that the road to recovery will be a bit long, but the best part about this entire conversation with initiatives that you have taken, the direction is pretty much clear right now. What kind of partnerships will be required? Who are the right kind of people to work with? What is the new clear definition of impact? That's the beauty of this entire conversation. And to solve problems of this scale, we need more cooperation, which is happening under this flagship banner. And as Facebook, this is very, very important to us, as our mission is to bring the world closer together. The pandemic has also shown that when people get connected, they can definitely achieve a lot of bigger, better, greater things, not just for themselves, but for their societies as well. So in this presentation, what I'll focus on is digital technologies and livelihood. I'll stick to my timelines of between 10 to 14 minutes, and I would love to respond to any queries, if any queries, any suggestions, if esteemed panel over here or all the guests who are present are asking. So coming on to the next one, the agenda is very simple. We will literally talk about the technology and livelihood ecosystem, and there are three, the way with which we typically see communities. There are urban communities, there are rural communities, and then there are tribal communities. Just to understand, their requirements are absolutely different, and when we talk about the economic empowerment of these communities, the fundamental aspirations, the fundamental beliefs typically change from urban to tribal communities, and how can we actually leverage this entire thing? Rather than just showcasing some fancy slides, I'll showcase three big heroes of our conversation. From the urban side, we have Tamanna Dhamija. She was an investment banker based out of New York. She left her job, and she is proud mother of a 6-year-old beautiful baby. What she realized was that she was online, she had access to technology, but she didn't have enough communities where mothers were able to share their beliefs, any challenges, and the kind of solutions that typically mothers can share with each other. That sense of community was typically missing. She came on Facebook. She started this brilliant venture called Baby Destination. Now Baby Destination is an online community of more than 450,000, minimum 450,000 moms across India. They share various aspects of their lives, pregnancy, how child should be raised, and this sense of community has not just motivated her, but also has created employment opportunities for various other mothers from the rural parts of India as well. So it was just one small need, and how that idea was planted to become one big aspiration and community support system on the ground. The second one is one of my favorites, Kiran Sahni ji from Sikar, Rajasthan. She is a village level entrepreneur currently engaged with Common Service Center. So she started her Common Service Center in Rajasthan, and the village where she operates, it's not that very advanced village. There were a lot of reservations for women, but when she started providing technological access to not just men or basic government services, but also she became a role model to a lot of women in her community, especially the self-help groups, and how one woman can become independent. She's not just supporting her own family, but rather she is now a role model for all the young girls in her community, where she is literally called as a digital sarpanch. So typical idea of a sarpanch in our head is जो अपनी गांव की बात आगे रखे, गांव की दिक्कतों को समझे, but ये क्या डिजिटल तरीके से हो सकता है? And she is doing similar kind of things, and till date she has already trained more than 1,000 women in her village on digital skills. So these are small stories which are coming from rural parts of India. There is this initiative which I'll in my later slides talk about, Digital Beti initiative, where we partnered with Ministry of Electronics and IT, which is like one agency, Common Service Center Academy, where we provided her access to market and online safety curriculum and modules, and then she went out and disbursing the same modules in the community, and the impact was phenomenal. I'll share the impact statistics with everyone of you over here. Next, the champion that I love to talk about is Neha Salina. She's from Itki, Jharkhand, a very remote tribal area. So imagine what happens to the dreams and aspirations of young women who don't have access or who cannot afford smartphones. So this was one of the case. We identified some 100 odd girls from various parts of India. We provided them smartphone. The profile was very simple, like urban and rural still have decent access to technology, various resources to work on, but what happens in some media dark areas where access, affordability are major challenges. Smartphone was provided, internet connection was provided, and what we realized was that this school-going girl, suddenly, rather than just getting married, she now has dreams and aspirations to not just become a teacher, but rather open a school in her own tribal village. The picture that you are seeing over here, like when she came into our program, she was very shy. She was not very confident of showcasing her thoughts. But after getting or interacting with a mentor, some hand-holding support was provided. She became so confident that she took interview, a Facebook Live light a candid interview of the US ambassador or UK ambassador to India. So how technology is shaping and how resilience is building. There are two research reports which were conducted with World Bank and OECD, plus an independent research undertaken by Deloitte. I'll just share some broad statistics, and it will give you a lay of land what is happening in India from digital technology and how people are absorbing, especially after the pandemic. So 66% of the customers right now are looking for new businesses, and in order to explore these new businesses, they are using various digital tools, which includes Facebook and Facebook family of apps. 41% of small businesses on Facebook have reported higher sales during time of COVID. So imagine, like, there are certain scenarios where people are saying that I am not able to make any sales, but we have a lot of women, rural women entrepreneurs or tribal entrepreneurs, who are saying that our sales are skyrocketing and there is major demand coming to us. 60% of the communication with small businesses in the time of pandemic, it was considered very very important, because this is in our DNA as Indians. जब तक सामान अच्छे से हम देख के चेक नहीं करेंगे, दुकानदार से बात नहीं करेंगे, तब तक हम एक बहुत strong immediate decision नहीं ले पाएंगे. So similarly, people or small businesses or customers who were interacting with buyer sellers interaction happening through Facebook family of apps becoming very seamless, and this leading to eventual increase in sales. There are three programs that we are running in India. There are a lot of other initiatives also, but I'll just talk about three flagship initiatives. One is Boost with Facebook. So basically, we organize online sessions across the country in major urban centers, where group of women entrepreneurs or urban entrepreneurs come together and they literally talk about various support systems. So it's not just we providing training, but communities coming together and helping each other out is the very essence of this Facebook Boost with Facebook program. So as an entrepreneur, there are three fundamental challenges: access to market, access to finance, and access to information. Boost with Facebook, people get access to information and access to markets through the curriculum that has been provided. Coming on to the rural side, what we are working on, as I mentioned, this Common Service Center Academy partnership that we have. So again, how do we bridge the gender divide on internet? So this is one partnership that we launched last year, and we just concluded this partnership towards end of October. We went to 10 states. We identified more than 3,000 villages and some 5,000 village level entrepreneurs were trained, who eventually reached out to communities, and they trained some 2.5 lakh rural entrepreneurs. So it was like a movement without stepping out of their homes. What we saw out of this research, and very soon we'll be coming out with some major announcements as well, what we saw in this research was, or the impact assessment, that using digital tools in rural areas, it impacted the livelihood or income by almost 20% per quarter. So that was a major impact that came out of our Digital Beti program. 45% of the beneficiaries or people who attended, or women SMBs who attended this program, they just wanted to sell their products or services. Their physical movement was restricted because of lockdown. So technology came to rescue, and how innovatively we as Indians use technology, it's a different story altogether. Would love to find out sometime and share not just Facebook's experiences, what we are learning in India, but also the brilliant experiences of communities. Bridging gender divide, what we saw was that out of 2.5 lakh women SMBs who got trained, more than 70% were first time internet users. This was a mind boggling number, but that's the kind of response that communities are getting on the ground. Coming on to tribal communities, we launched a program called Going Online as Leaders. So this is This is a program which was launched. First of all, the pilot was launched in 2019. Neha Salina का जो मैंने आपको example बताया. We went to 5 states, 100 girls were identified, and we connected them with mentors. So typically, what you see in community development programs, first phase है लोगों को training दे दी जाए, तो will it solve the purpose? When we train people, we have learned over last 4 years in India. When we train people, they achieve success till a certain level. When we raise their level of aspiration, they achieve success till a certain level. What we realized was it's not just upskilling people or motivating them to do something good with their lives, but also if some kind of nudge is provided through mentors, it can definitely transform lives on the ground. So this is the theme and DNA behind the mentorship program. So successfully, this was completed in November last year. We went ahead and we showcased the entire project to Ministry of Tribal Affairs. So now the big goal is to identify 5,000 tribal youth and connect 5,000 tribal youth and connect them with 2,500 mentors over next 5 years. So this is one of the biggest flagship programs that we are running right now. There is a portal also. If you search Goal Facebook, you will definitely find details about this portal. Even before I end my presentation, I would love to show a very small video and hope it will tell you more about how communities are.
Yeah. Dr.
Yes.
Raju, Raju, I am afraid that your video will be actually uploaded on the site because of the paucity of the time and 2, 3 questions. So we may not be
No
able to.
worries, ma'am. No worries, no worries. I'll share the link, but otherwise, thank you very much once again, everyone, and especially
Yeah.
thanks to all the partners who are behind this massive initiative that the government of India has taken. So thank you very much, and look forward to any questions or suggestions from the group. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I would like to, before concluding the sessions, I would like to thank all the lead speakers for their exciting and commendable presentations. Also, I would like to thank our audiences. And third thing, before closing the session and handing over for the next session to Dr. Rashmi, I would like to ask some 2 to 3 questions. Just 5 minutes we have to wrap up to keep the time in mind. So first question I would like to ask for Deshpande Foundation. Would like to ask that you have very nicely uh, said about this digital model for the ethnic sector. So the challenges you faced and how you have overcome for this sector, whether the same model can be used for any other artisans, little variation, but the digital platform or those kind of modalities, whether we can keep the same thing. And second is on this only, since we are talking about this COVID and the migrant issues and the digital technologies, which is the cross-sectoral areas, it is strengthening. So any migrant also has taken the benefit of your efforts. Over to Deshpande Foundations. Hello, Mrugank. Anybody is there from Deshpande Foundation to answer? Hello, is anybody there from Deshpande Foundation? Am I audible?
Madam, you're audible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, anyone from Deshpande Foundation is there? Because you're audible, madam.
Okay, if they are not there, then let us not waste the time. My second question is for FCS. Who is maintaining the portal or the data platform, and any security measures, and who shares the data? Could you please tell in just
Yes, yes, sure. So the data, as I said, there are over like 1,800 data layers. Some of these are government data, publicly available data sets. Others are are open source data sets, like taken from like biodiversity or related to biodiversity or other natural resources. So it's primarily these two data sets, not data sets, these two sets of data. And the third, which is increasingly being used now, is the crowd post data. So yes, the data policy allows us to use a CC. It is a Creative Commons by license. Um, that's the license. That's the licensing that we use for people who wish to use the data that we have put up. The rest is the we follow the protocols that have been, when it is government data sets, we follow the protocols that have been set by government. When it is open source, we do that accordingly.
Yeah, because if you then any community level people, because BSc also supports community organization and strengthen it. Even PSA office and many other government agencies, they strengthen the community organization. So they can communicate with you and take your data models to use in their community level or the geographical area. Is that so?
Yes, it is so. And also, FES is working very strongly to build these sort of partnerships and collaborations, because, as I mentioned in the last slide, we're trying to build a knowledge commons or an open digital ecosystem, so to speak. So we're trying to build this network of and like a grid of servers, so where there's like open collaboration and networking between different government agencies, NGOs, and other CBOs.
Yeah, thank you. My last question to Shri Rajat Arora. Since you have shown very nicely about the digital platform usage and adopting this very nicely by in rural area or even tribal also, so kudos for that. Only my question would be, see, many of the frugal technologies, whatever you have showcased is either for value-added products or artisan or craft or so many other things. But I'm pointing out about the frugal technologies. Many of the frugal technologies have been developed by government institutions, community level or something. In your organization or through Facebook, how can we reach out to the people? The awareness. Please comment on that.
Ketki ma'am, can you please repeat the last line? It was I missed on the last line.
I'm sorry if I'm not audible. See, you have done great work through Facebook. Now, many of the things here we are concerned about the dissemination of the frugal technologies to the masses, or the good work which is being carried out by community level organizations or government organizations. So it should reach to the good connect should be there, and the Facebook also can serve a good connect point. So with your project or with your initiatives, would you also act as a catalyst for reaching out these frugal innovations to the people?
Perfect, ma'am. This is a very brilliant question, and like my simple answer to this will be it's already happening, ma'am. We are just catalyzing the entire conversation on the ground. So example, like if someone gets a smartphone, then by default, like this is how they connect with their friends and family members. And the new trends that we are seeing on our platform is that people are not just connecting with their friends and family members. After COVID, they are also reaching out, learning new things, new about new technologies, new skills. So this is a brilliant platform, ma'am, or this is a brilliant opportunity. The only thing that is required right now is some sort of structure that can be built into this conversation. If that kind of structure, to be very honest, ma'am, is there a perfect one size fits all model? To be very honest, no, ma'am. So each and every region, each and every Google. So this is where we are. Yes, ma'am. This is where
I
we
think
collaborate.
we need to work it out. I think it is a very positive answer. I would take it like that, and maybe we
Yes.
all work out the possibility to adopt this thing. So with this our session, we are concluding this session. Thank you once more, and I will hand it over to Dr. Rashmi Sharma from UST to take over for the next session panel discussion. Thank you all. I wish you all the best to all.
Thank you, Ketki ma'am. Namaskar to all the participants. Now we are in the last panel discussion of Science-Society-Setu for Aatmanirbhar Bharat. This is last but not the least. Today we have a panel of 5 specialists, and all of them are enthusiastic, creative, and passionate about addressing societal challenges through technology. Because of the paucity of the time, we have assigned 10 minutes to all the panelists. So I would request them to be strict to the time. And to take the agenda of the web clinic further, I would like to invite our first panelist, Mr. Prateek Gadkar. Prateek is a mechanical engineer by profession. He is a fellow of Fab Foundation, MIT, Boston. He has also received CII Top Innovator Award in 2015 for Instant Hygienic Lemonade Maker. He is currently Director of TechnoVenture Private Limited, CEO Fab Lab Nagpur, and Executive Director of Foundation of House Makers. He will be talking about Fab Lab installation for digital fabrication and rapid prototyping. Over to Prateek. Hello, you are audible.
Sorry, can't hear.
Hello.
What is happening? We can't hear. Rashmi, let's go to the next one because time will be a factor.
Okay, sir.
I think he has to switch on his mic.
So in the meantime, we'll take the next one. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Kathan Kothari, who is a graduate from NID Ahmedabad and is associated with Manthan Educational Program Society India as a coordinator, outreach, and head social design since 2008. He is also a founder member of heads one of its kind Science, Innovation, and Art Children's Museum called Coach. He has been an advisor to Science Society activities of European Union project. Kathan will be talking about cross-linking digital and analog technologies with design and innovation for craft sustainability. Over to you, Kathan.
Namaste, Rashmi ma'am, and namaste all the respected members. And thank you, the organizing committee, for inviting me to share my ideas. I hope I am audible.
Yes, Kathan, you are audible. And please stick to your timeline.
So I'll do that. I'll be sharing certain ideas and explore during different projects carried out by our organization, which were related to digital and analog technology cross-linking, and how does design and innovation play a role for sustainability of craft sector. Next slide, please. We started our journey in the area of entrepreneurship in the year 2001. Next slide. Okay. We started our journey in the area of entrepreneurship development in the year 2001, and we started working on involving simple technologies and developing micro entrepreneurs in Kutch. Next slide. This journey was going on, and we were in Kutch, Bharuch, Narmada, Surendranagar. Several experiences were going on. Next slide, please. Narmada was a great journey where we met a lot of tribal members. These tribal members were collecting and they were making simple medicines. We thought it's a fantastic idea. Let's start exploring it in the area of self-help group development. Next slide, please. We formed a self-help group known as Adi Aushadhi, And this group was a wonderful group. We thought that this idea. We started involving technology. Next slide, please. We started involving technology related to management and production. This was for the first time the tribals were using technology. There were technologies related to grinding of herbs. There were technologies related to drying. There were technologies related to mobile technologies related to management, which we were using. Next slide, please. We thought that for marketing, platform was very important. We started working on establishing digital platform. We started developing websites. We started involving Facebook. We started involving simple e-shops into the place, and we started training these group of people on how they can themselves manage their own websites and e-shops. And that's where we started linking the analog and digital technology. Next slide, please. In the coming years, we started focusing in the area of craft, and craft has a lot of potential. Next slide. We thought that design plays a major role for development. Design plays a major role for development in multiple regions. Maybe product development, maybe selection of the material, maybe expanding market. Next slide. So a complete transformation was brought into products. There were products which were woven from waste material made into dharis. These products had a great potential of marketing. Next slide. And there were a series of different products being made. So we thought that in the coming years, we needed to focus on craft entrepreneurship. Next slide. And when we talk about craft entrepreneurship, we came up with a concept which was known as village as a brand. When we talk about village as a brand, there are four main areas which we wanted to focus on: design, marketing and management, skill, and technology. And that's where innovation came into the picture. Next slide. So I'll be taking you to the journey of two different villages where we have tried to make village as a brand, and that's what I'll be sharing. The first journey is into a village known as Damarka. Damarka is a village of block printers. It was 7 years before when we started working there. It was a completely unorganized sector. There were no systems of dyeing, there were no systems of storage, the quality control was not there, and we had a lot to work on. Next slide. So we started our journey with involving innovative approaches in product development. The guys who were just doing block printing, we thought that it's important that they converted their block printed material into products. And that's where we started involving techniques like button masala, and people started making their own products. Next slide. Quality control was really, really important. And we wanted to focus on how technology can take a place for quality control. And we started involving technologies related to washing, drying, and this was for the first time they were using such kind of technology. Dyeing, we also brought in systems for chemical dyes and storage systems. So there was lots of analog technology coming into the place. Next slide. We came up with a very interesting, innovative idea that when we visited every artisan spaces, they were very unorganized, and we needed to get them organized. So we started designing those spaces. Each unit was designed. We designed almost 16 units, and they could just uplift their kind of work area. Next slide. There were systems set up for drying. There were systems set up for washing. There were spaces created for storage of the material, chemical dyes, and next slide. And there was a big difference which we could bring in. There were systems where we introduced rainwater harvesting system, where we introduced drying systems, where we introduced block storage system. We even brought in technologies like effluent treatment plants for single units at low cost. So that was the kind of input which we brought on for quality control. Next slide. Talk about technology, how can we forget digital technology? When we talk about digital technology, it had to be for marketing and scaling of the businesses. We started utilizing Facebooks for marketing. Each artisan had their own portfolio and their own catalogs which were going on, and they were sharing their ideas online. That's Ajrak Print, a group of artisans They created themselves and they are sharing their ideas. Each group of artisans had their own online store on platforms like Gatha as well as on Agio and Amazon. So that was where we were leading. Next slide. I'm walking through another village of potters. And potters were utilizing only manual facilities. And there was a lot of scope for improvement and upliftment. Next slide. So we started involving a lot of technology. There were pug mills which were involved. There were plungers which were involved. There were electric potters' wheels which were involved. This potters village is known as Gundiali, and Gundiali was a village where they only used to make matka. The demand of matka has been constantly reducing since years. So we thought that design plays a major role for product development, and we developed a lot of designs along with the craftspeople. Next slide, please. The government of Gujarat, we also involved improved kiln, which was disseminated to all the craftspeople for free, which reduced the burning by 70%, which reduced the damage to only 2 to 4%, and which could reach to 1200 degrees. Next slide, please. We also started innovation programs like Matka Innovation Program, where they made different products like barbecues, cooking utensils, lamps, and different things which the same skill set, utilizing the same skill set they could be making. Next slide. We always believe that co-creation is the future. And when a designer and an artisan works together, there can be wonders which can happen. So we put down a fellowship program where one designer was working with one artisan family. And there were such 8 different groups which were formed. On the right-hand side, you can see on the top, the products which were developed by the artisan and designer were displayed in an exhibition known as Ekatra. Bottom right, you can see certain images created for drinking water utensils from terracotta. And it was all displayed in an exhibition. It was almost a festival. Next slide, please. When we are talking about technology and cross-linking technology, how can we forget Maker's Lab? And this was for the first time we were trying to create crafts-based Maker's Lab and for artisans. We started involving different technologies like flat rollers. There were technologies involved at multiple levels. And it was like an experiment center for the people. The bottom images which I'm sharing is quite an interesting project which we initiated. Basically, we started making and documenting products of pottery. And when a potter carries their products, it many times get damaged. So we came up with a digital documentation box where a potter would just put their product. It would be documented in 360 degrees, and they could carry it in the format of a hologram, and which they could carry to any exhibition. And these images were directly shared online on the website also. Next slide, please. We, as I shared earlier, we believe in a lot of co-creation. We had planned out an exchange program and a fellowship program, which was an international residency. But due to the COVID, it could not really happen. So we thought that how can we really do that? So we, along with SEPT University and the ICRC, we put up an online training program known as Knowledge Exchange Program. On the top, you can see me sharing ideas about global and local knowledge. It was really an exchange program which we were working on. Ramesh and Rashika were trying to share ideas which were exchanges of from Bapugaon village in Gundiali village. Steve from UK was sharing ideas related to plate making, and an artist from Himachal, Riaz, was sharing ideas and giving challenges to artists from Gundiali. Next slide. And this all happened over WhatsApp. WhatsApp as a tool is great for exchanging ideas. And the potters from a village registered themselves in this program, and they started sharing their ideas. That's Siddhik Bhai sharing his making, Riaz sharing his doing from Himachal. And it's a great exchanging platform. And that's how we really started exploring the idea of digital platforms. Next slide. It's the last slide. So we also were planning to do a physical exhibition, but due to the pandemic, we really could not do it. So now DICRC and SEPT Library is really working on virtual exhibition of our journey of 7 years with the Potter's family. And that's what is going to be the future. It's going to be inaugurated on the 18th, and we'll be sharing the links with every members. So we would love that you visit it. Next slide, please. And there's a lot to do, there's a lot to share, and there's a lot to be explored. Next slide. And that's only happening if we do it together. There are lots of people doing things together, and that's what is going to bring sustainability. That's an image, a screenshot of an image of a potter's son doing throwing a pot, and I really loved it. And his father sharing it on Facebook, and it's shared multiple times with a lot of people. So that's where the future lies. Thank you for allowing me to share this idea.
Thank you, Kathan. Thank you very much for sharing your vast experience in craft sustainability. Now, I would request Mr. Prateek from Techno Venture Private Limited to present. Mr. Prateek.
Hello, am I audible? Yeah, I'm audible.
Yes, you are audible. Yes. For all the participants, just Mr. Prateek, just a moment. To all the participants, because we will not be able to take up your questions and answer session will not be happening today. So you can post your questions to the chat box. The answers will be given on the portal. So you can post your questions. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Rashmi, for this opportunity. Yeah. I thank DST Vigyan Prasar, Office of PSA, Scientific Advisory, Government of India, for giving me this opportunity to present my work. So I am Prateek Gadkar, Director Technoventure Innovations Private Limited and CEO of FabLab Nagpur. So we are into setting up innovation labs and providing curriculums for the makers. And next slide, please, ma'am. So Technoventure Innovations is that we are a team of young innovators. We received a national award from CI and IIT Delhi as Top Innovator of the Year 2015. We are recognized by Vigyan Ashram and Data Center for Technology and Design, IIT Bombay. As a Fab Lab, Nagpur by Center for Bits and Atom, MIT Boston. So our team graduate from our teams are graduate and students of Fab Academy from Vigyan Ashram, conducted by Fab Foundation. And we are one point contact for setting up of innovation labs. We are into design and execute of Fab Labs and prototyping labs across India. We provide workshops, content, project mentorships, and AMC for 3 years, like in this complete setup. Next slide, please. So this is the award that we have received in 2015 from CI and IIT Delhi as a Top Innovator of the Year. Thank you. Next slide. So this is a core team who is well trained and passionate and motivated for creating this complete environment of innovation. Next slide, please. So we have a very strong advisory from IIT Bombay and Vigyan Ashram. We have Dr. Sanjay Mahajani, professor at Chemical Engineering and ex-member of ex-committee member of Tata Center for Technology and Design, IIT Bombay. We have Dr. Bhaga from MS Metallurgy Department, IIT Bombay. Dr. Yogesh Kulkarni, Executive Director, Vigyan Ashram. Dr. Zamre, Senior Research Scientist at IIT Bombay, who is continuously mentoring us in this complete program that we are running. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So this is Technoventure's Fab Lab Nagpur. So we run a community makerspace called Fab Lab Nagpur. Here, this facility is well equipped with the digital fabrication tool, industrial robotics, advanced electronics, woodworking, co-working space. Initially, this space was started for graduates, but now we are welcoming students from 12 years and above who are continuously working with us and doing a lot of innovations. Next slide, please. So Fab Lab Nagpur gives opportunities for internships. They provide upskilling programs for like-minded people. We have in-house team who develop course and provide prototyping support, mentorship. We are completely focused on learning by doing, and this complete space is like it's a kind of a co-working space model for innovation. Next slide, please. So what does exactly this Fab Lab do? Like Fab Lab for digital fabrication. So it is all about an idea. If you have an idea, you just need to get that idea to the lab. This idea is converted into prototypes through the process by designing, coding, and providing this design and code to the machine. Machine will give a direct output from, like, it's a very easy task. Very less codes are required. Like, it's simple. You just need to design and put it on the machine. You will get a product output. It's this complete facility is equipped with CNC machine, 3D printing, laser cutting. Next slide, please. So this is a set of equipments that we need to run a fab lab. We have a small electronic section where SMDs and all has been used. Huge 3D printers, vinyl cutting, laser cutting, all digital fabrication and open source softwares to run this complete setup. Next slide, please. So this is a global network started by Professor Neil Grishenfield under Fab Foundation. So this is a 1800 plus fab labs across the globe and 70 plus in India. So this is a complete network. It is internally connected, and any problem in any fab lab can be solved globally through a network. Next slide, please. So what organizations can do with fab labs? So here at Fab Lab, we do real life problem solving. We provide we do technological innovations. We provide mentorship to startups. We do community engagement workshops, community education, upskilling, research and development activities for industries and education. This all can be, like, an organization can definitely do if you have a fab lab with you. Next slide. So what is the basic difference with fab makers and traditional makers? So traditional makers use traditional tools. Here at fab makers, they have very specific digital tools, like modern technology, where the same idea can be replicated in a very better way, could be presented in a better way. So solution developed by the traditional makers are very difficult. Like, it seems difficult to replicate, but here at Fab Lab, it can replicate the models. You have open source network. So the ultimate flexibility approach, where traditional makers use the same approach we have to use as a fab maker, but it is very easy to replicate your models. So cost of the innovation is low in the traditional maker spaces, or what traditional makers do, but in the fab makers, the cost is a little bit high, but you get a very quality product, and you can actually take your product, lab product, to market. What usually happens. Next slide, please. Next slide. Yeah. So this is what one of our maker from it's a startup, Electromagnitude. So this is the first product which came out of the lab from Vigyan Ashram. So it is lab to market scene. This is a bamboo engraver developed by Supriya from Fab at Vigyan Ashram. So it's a completely developed at a Fab Lab model. This machine has been designed, developed, prototyped at lab, and it's now into market. Next slide, please. So this is a very finished bamboo engraver product that we have. It is completely developed at our lab. This is completely 3D printed or laser. It's a complete in-house product, the same bamboo engraver. Next slide, please. This is another project that we worked on, a weather station for our lab. So we developed our own weather station where we get updates on the different rooms. Like, this completely developed at our facility. So a lot of projects can be developed under this complete if you have a setup with you. Next slide, please. So this is a 3D printer. It's a 3-in-1 machine, basically. This Fab Lab is basically made up of 3-4 equipments: 3D printer, laser cutter, and a milling machine, and a vinyl plotter. So this machine can do 3 of them in a single machine. This complete machine has been developed in this in-house facility. This machine can do 3D printing, laser cutting, and milling at a single stage. Next slide, please. Next slide. This is a smart mirror, IoT-based mirror developed by a 13 years old kid at lab. The smart mirror is IoT controlled and provide us live data like news. It plays music. It gives you your calendar. It shows you, like, if you're just in the morning, if you're in front of a mirror, you can get all the updates on a single mirror. You don't need to carry your mobiles all the time. Next slide, please. So it's a sound diffuser which has been developed by a maker in our facility. So you just need an idea. There is no limitation with this facility. You just need an idea. We can develop that idea into prototype with the Fab Lab. Next slide, please. So these are some of our innovation coming out of our lab. Next slide, please. So actually, we got an opportunity. So actually, this Fab Lab, how Fab Lab can help community is the real example that, or an experience we got during this lockdown period. We did a lot of innovation. We were working whole 3 months. Next slide, please. So we developed around 1 lakh face shields. The initiative started by all the Fab Lab community. And we developed 1 lakh plus face shields. We helped each other. We provided these face shields to the frontline warriors during this pandemic. And it was the initiative. It was supported by the community where people took shields at their home. They assembled it, helped us out. We distributed around 1 lakh face shields. And it was, the Fab Lab was there. That's why we can support the frontline warrior during this pandemic. Next slide, please. Not just face shield,
but... you to conclude? I'm sorry, but may I request you to conclude? Because we are running short of time.
Sure, ma'am. Yeah. So this Fab Lab is a place to make almost anything. You just need an idea to just convert it idea into prototype or product. And here we at Technoventor Innovations, we next slide, please. So we help institute and organizations to create, institute and organizations to create Fab Labs. We design facility for them. We install it. We provide post mentorship, and we do complete execution and keep handholding for 9 years. So we have around 32 plus Fab Labs across India where do such kind of innovations. Thank you so much for this opportunity. So this is what we do basically.
Thank you, Pratik. I hope that this information will be useful for the youngsters for their skill upgradation. Now, I would like to invite our next panelist, Dr. Pragati Gokhale. She is a retired principal scientist from Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Rural Industrialization. While working in field, she came across the challenges of farmers and rural entrepreneurs. She took this as a social mission, created a digital platform using her IT background, and created a platform called marketmirchi.com. She is currently advisor at Rajiv Gandhi Science and Technology Commission and founder of chief mentor of Mission Mera Mobile Mera Marketing. She will be presenting zero budget online agro and rural marketing via marketmirchi.com. Over to Dr. Pragati Gokhale.
Thank you, ma'am. I am audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible. Yeah. Clearly.
Thank you, DST team and all associated with this event. It is like Mission Mera Mobile Mera Marketing is a organic movement. Because in the morning, madam asked me which type of entrepreneurship you are having. Then I said no entrepreneurship. Then she said that is it a social entrepreneurship? But then I explained her, and I'm explaining to you all that it is a totally open, free social movement, which is started by me using my field experience and leveraging my IT knowledge. And many organizations are joining it and supporting it for the various activities. Supporting means not financial supporting, but activity-wise supporting is there from many organizations. So what is Mission Mera Mobile Mera Marketing? While working in MGIRI, Mahatma Gandhi Institute for Rural Industrialization, where I have joined as a principal scientist, I have to give solutions, science and technology solutions for rural entrepreneurship problems. And there I came across after various क्या बोलते उसको थोड़ा field study and ground interaction make me aware कि सबसे बड़ा bottleneck जो है for rural entrepreneurship to grow and to for farmers to grow is the marketing. And what this marketing means showcasing का उन्हें अभाव है, and we are giving this opportunity to them through various exhibitions which are held by different ministries, where these rural entrepreneurs and farmers showcase their products, जैसे कि धान्य बाजार वगैरह होता है, and there they are able to get a good price for their products. So leveraging my IT knowledge, I developed a platform, marketmirchi.com. We wanted a name that nobody should forget, so we choose that name, marketmirchi.com. And after that, it was a time of about 2014-15, and that time that digital India just started to emerge, and internet has not reached all the corners of India, and also the smartphones were likely to come in the stage. So that time I went to Bhuj, and it was in 2016. And there I want to present about this marketmirchi.com. It was a huge exhibition organized by our ministry and for farmers. So that time my laptop stopped working, and then I was worried. But the guy who was assisting me was smart. He said, "Madam, no need of laptop. We can show on our smartphone." So I said, "Oh." Then the girl who was sitting at the counter of this exhibition, she was a super smart. She started announcing, "Mharo mobile se mharo marketing." So that day there was a huge "Mharo mobile se mharo marketing." That word picked up so well that there was a huge queue of farmers in front of me with their mobiles telling me, "Madam, batao ki how we can market our products with our mobiles." And all of them were having so good smartphones that I was ashamed of my smartphone that day. So that day we named our mission as Mission Mera Mobile Mera Marketing. So what is currently in the Mission Mera Mobile Mera Marketing? Of course, the prime part is marketmirchi.com, and we have developed it with a very minute attention to the problems which faced at the bottom of pyramid. What we have not developed it as an app, because we have noticed that many a times it is needed to teach them how to download app, फिर उनके mobile पे space नहीं रहती. So we have developed it in the latest progressive web app technologies, where it is not required to download like app, but still it looks and works like app on your mobile, and even its icon can be made on your home screen like app. It is of course multilingual. भारत के सारी भाषाओं में चलती है, मेजर भाषाओं में. And we have kept the user interface as simple as possible. We have not asked anybody to register first. तो पहले लंबा वो registration form भरो, वो सारा नहीं है. We directly take them to action. We tell them, just click on post free sales ad, select your category, post your ad, and at the end there is a user registration button which requires only their mobile number, name and address, email if they are having. And immediately when they click on the post sales ad, they will get a link of buyers in their SMS. And similarly, when buyers click on post free buy ad and post their ad, they get a link of sellers in their SMS. So it is a completely free open buyer seller hub in agro and rural domain. यहाँ पे आपको ग्रेन्स मिलेंगे, पल्सेस मिलेंगे, वेजिटेबल्स मिलेंगे, इवन ऑल एग्रो प्रोसेसिंग कैटेगरीज, ऑल रूरल प्रोडक्ट्स कैटेगरीज, मिर्ची, मसाले, हैंडलूम, हैंडीक्राफ्ट, रूरल सर्विस प्रोवाइडर्स, everything which is under agro and rural domain that we have tried to cover in marketmirchi.com as a different categories. So the process is very, very simple. And this is you take just 1 minute. Any farmer in India takes only 1 minute to post ad. मेरा दावा है, और वो उसके साथ अपना बढ़िया फोटो भी लगा सकता है. बाद में we have introduced one new feature in it just to keep them active. Once they post ad and they get a link of
Hello, you are not audible, ma'am.
I think we lost her.
Her connection is lost.
Looks like.
Okay, because I was trying her number, but I think she's not picking up the phone. So should we take the next speaker, or we should wait?
Because we do not have much time. 4:15 PSA will join.
Hello, yes ma'am. आवाज नहीं आ रही मैम आपकी. नहीं 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 आ रहा. अब शुरू से तो आ रहा है. And your slide where mission मेरा मोबाइल मेरा marketing, that is running, and from there you lost. You were lost. No. From the slide of mission मेरा मोबाइल मेरा marketing. हाँ जी मैम आ रही है अभी. Just hold on. Are we getting her?
No sound.
No sound.
So we'll take the next one.
Rashmi, you go ahead, because he will join like so. Divyanshu?
Yes, sir. I can hear you, sir.
Sir, actually,
so
she was on the line.
You tell
She
her
was
to
on the
stop,
line.
and you tell her to stop, because we have to take the others one,
Yes,
after
I
that.
have already told
Divyanshu?
you. Yes.
Yeah, Divyanshu, you
So,
have to do quickly. Yeah.
Sure,
I
sir.
would
Sure,
request
sir.
Divyanshu Vashne. He will be talking about what are the challenges faced by the society to become Atmanirbhar, and how VR, AR, and MR can help overcome this. So over to you, Divyanshu.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you and your families are safe during this pandemic. Firstly, I would like to congratulate Devpriya sir and the organizing team for coming up with this wonderful initiative. And thank you for inviting me. It's an honor to share my thoughts on VR, AR, MR for Atmanirbhar Bharat today. Hi, I'm Divyanshu. And we all heard about mother birds who push their baby birds out of the nest so that they can learn to fly. They would rather fly or hit the ground. So, like baby birds, we need to learn to fly before we hit the ground. And we need to train ourselves to be Atmanirbhar. And from my personal experience, I can say it is not going to be fun, to be frank. It will be hard, but it works. If you're not going to push yourself now, then sooner or later, your life will push you into abyss. And you will regret of not taking action initially. Let's see what it takes to be Atmanirbhar. First, you need to be positive and confident of what you are doing. Second, upskill consistently. There is no age for learning and education. We need to make it a process in a life to learn from everyone, from everything. Third, embrace accountability. This gives you a sense of empowerment and the confidence that you're capable to shape your life yourself. Fourth, be informed. Know about your surrounding. Know where you are. The more you know, the more concentrated your decision making will be. And the last one, time bound. Basically, when you are going to achieve your goal, with what frequency, in what time period. Time is very cruel, but it can be your friend too. This is not the end. We have other barriers which we can't overcome as an individual. Like it's hard to get the skilled subject matter experts, limited resource, limited facilities, and the complex training process. But don't worry, VRARMR is there to help overcome these challenges through various S&T based solutions like AR Lab, the future of anywhere, anytime learning at your fingertips. AR Lab creates endless virtual facilities just using a smartphone. Like if you want to learn or use a 3D printer, but you don't have a 3D printer, using AR Lab, you can augment a 3D printer into a real environment and can do hands-on activities. For example, you can how to use it, how to set temperature, how to insert a coil, how to fix a clogged nozzle. There are infinite, endless uses of AR labs. Let's see few examples. Here you can see the different body organ parts into 3D, which makes it more cognitive and immersive and increase the retention. Everything you can see through this is in 3D and in 360. So you can really immerse with the content. You can do assessment, you can track the progress, you can do storytelling. Here you can see an Africa map, and using this AR, you can augment and you can see like this is story tells how humanity evolved. So there are like endless use cases in endless field. You might be wondering after seeing the video how AR Lab is benefit. So AR Lab provides you a cross-platform access. You can access it from any device, and it improves retention and outcome. And the 3D simulation and fun and convenient curriculum makes it more motivating, so that like the person feel motivated toward the learning, and it increases the productivity and efficiency. It develops an innovative mindset and gives you an unlimited access to use expensive equipments with a zero maintenance cost, and also helps in capacity building. As in India we have millions of smartphone users, so we can reach to millions of users using this AR lab and can create a innovative mindset and train them. VR and AR is the best technology to address the local problems in agriculture and healthcare. Indian farmers are known to be the second in production and productivity. Despite the fact they are marginal and small farmers, they face difficulty in accessing the latest machines and facilities. So VR and AR is helping them with strengthening their knowledge gap in their native language, using creating like immersive the curriculums and the things and the tool trainings and remote support. Virtual reality is a new effective technology which has endless use cases in medicine, and it already shown progress in chronic pain management and gamified the rehabilitation process, and it is also helpful in medical training and tool maintenance. Now I would like to present remotely the latest technology developed by VRARMR. Remotely transforms the way we provide training today. With all the uncertainties present due to COVID-19, situation presents, remotely enhance the real-time remote support and helps user to achieve quick troubleshooting, remote inspection, and upskilling. Let's see how remotely works. Like here you can see, the person got confused like how to solve the problem. So using remotely, he got connect with an expert. The expert gonna analyze by seeing the live view. So remotely makes communication more interactive. It increases the interaction and collaborations. Remotely offers a quick start program for organizations to manage their operations remotely and effectively. It reduces the travel cost and provide assistance with 100% consistency of training. There is no need for a trainer to be on site. Let's see how remotely helps in pharmaceutical lab. Here you can see that robotic arm is not working. So using remotely, the person got connected to an expert. And expert is using 3D annotation so that the person can get what he needs to do, so that the action will be more better and more faster. Remotely provides 21st century high impact training. It boosts confidence by 90% and increase productivity by 80%, and it reduces the training time by 96%. To bring technology to masses and upskill the youth, we started VR/AR/MR community. It's India's first and now the largest virtual reality and augmented reality community dedicated to build literacy in underserved areas and drive employment-led software skill development for the underprivileged. The community is locally rooted and internationally connected, having impacted more than 100,000 people so far globally on VR/AR technology so far. And we are connecting technology to drive research and development for societal benefits. We have collaborated with various co-workings, universities, schools, and KOLs to enhance, expand, and increase impact globally. We organize meetups, trainings, networking, provide project development and internships, and we co-organize Reality Virtually Hackathon every year at MIT Media Lab Boston. It's world's largest XR competition where we invite 450 participants from all over the world. So now we are barrier from flying high. So let's leave our nest and become Atmanirbhar. So with VR/AR/MR, the possibilities for exploring, experimenting, and learning are endless. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Divyanshu, for giving the gist of VR, AR, and MR, how it can be used for addressing the challenges of the society and such a short time. Thank you very much. So we'll move ahead and take our last panelist, Mr. Rajat Vardhan. He's a co-founder and CEO of AgroNext, and he's involved in supply chain management involving agriculture commodities. So over to Rajat. May I request Rajat Vardhan to present?
Everybody, am I?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah, so I would like to thank Dr. Ketki Bapat, Dr. Rashmi Sharma, Dr. D. Datta, Ms. Rajni Rawat, and Ms. Pooja for this opportunity. We are AgroNext and we are a farm digitalization platform. Next slide, please. May I request to go for the next slide, please? Yeah. So our vision to be the single largest tech and human intelligence powered platform that delivers product and services of significant value to farmers by connecting all stakeholders. When we say human intelligence, we have learned it hard way from our educational background, industry experience, and by bringing AgroNext to this level, that human intelligence remains to be the most important tool which will drive technology at AgroNext. Next slide, please. So we largely see three problems with which our farming community is, really looking forward to get the solution of. One is advisory for crop and the nutrition, which is not standardized. Data darkness is one of the major reason which is hampering the productivity. Number Two is limited access to affordable credit to farmers, and then market linkage for the indigenously grown crops, chemically free grown crops, and regularly grown crops. Next, please. So we have developed a digitalization platform called Farm, which is a plug-and-play system that connects the stakeholders by bringing in a combination of hardware and software. That this system basically works on actionable insights. This covers the ecosystem players right from farmer by getting him farm membership, covering the input shop. So whenever a farmer is having any disease or any advisory related issues, primarily and secondarily, he goes to the market and he looks forward to get connected with the input shops. So we got close to 4 lakh input shops in our country. So we are looking forward to connect these input shops. We're looking forward to connect the FPOs with our platform and NGOs who are working there to provide advisory and market connect to the farming community. Next slide, please. So just a view of the platform. So the platform just bring in farmers, his complete profile. Then we also make sure that crops, varieties, date of sowing, date of transplanting, crop-wise, plot-wise acreages are being covered into the system. Next, please. While we are registering the farmers, we ensure that different plots which are there with one farm membership, they are being covered into the system by us. This is a one-time exercise which is mandatory for us to provide all sort of services from our side. Next, please. So we also have developed the farm disease and nutrition management tool, which is available in 3 languages for now: English, Hindi, and Punjabi. This tool completely empowers the user to use standard advisory as a tool by looking at the photographs, and based on that, he or she can reach to a certain decision making. Next, please. So the architect of the entire system is quite complex. We are bringing different layers of data: transaction data, weather data, soil data, self-reported data by the farmers, and combining this, the decision making is being reached out. Next, please. So we are a team of people who have got education in agriculture background and then exposure to technology background. We have worked in the industry for more than a decade, and then we have founded AgroNext. Next, please. So just to share with you that when farmers have been calling us day in day out, we realize that we need to make it really simple. We need to find out ways so that farmer can find out same answers to answer to the same question, let us say for tomato or late blight in potato, and likewise. So we have brought our YouTube channel with standard advisory videos, and we found out that more than 80,000 subscribers have gone and looked forward to see advisory content into that. We also have brought a lot of products on the platform so that the farming community get a standard product while they are using the advisory. Next, please. So we have got MOU signed with the Arunachal Pradesh government to implement our farm digitalization platform in the state, and we shall be launching very, very soon. Next, please. We are the winners, national winners of Mahindra Ag Startup 2020. Next, please. So we believe that every solution we offer has to be impactful, affordable, and simple for farmers. With this, I would like to end the presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rajat. I think this will be useful for the farmers. in our country,
Yes, ma'am.
because they will be able to know how technology can be used for
Yes.
their crop production and identifying the issues related to pests and other things. So thank you
Yes,
very
ma'am.
much.
Thank you, ma'am.
We
Thank you,
lost the
everybody.
connection of Dr. Pragati Gokhale. So I think she was quite a motivator, and the way she has presented, whatever she presented, like how she was motivated by the women saying "Maro mobile se Mara marketing," and she has created marketmirchi.com. So that was quite interesting. But moving forward, because this was the last session, last panel discussion of the Science-Society-Setu for Aatmanirbhar Bharat. So I would now request Dr. Devapriya Datta. He has been the guiding force, and he has conceptualized the idea of this Setu. So I would request him to sum up the activities and tell us about the opportunities.
Can I share the screen, please, Rashmi? Can I share the screen?
So can the Vigyan Prasad share the screen, please? May I request Vigyan Pooja or
No, it is not. Not ma'am. Me.
so you have been made the presenter, she says.
No, I can't.
Pooja, you have the
Sure.
presentation of.
Now it is.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So I think already. I think we by 4:50 the honorable PSA will join. I have only 5 minutes, so I don't know whether this quickly I can do it, or should I request Dr. Anil Joshi, who is one of the member of our technical advisory group, to share his views, and maybe after PSA speaks, I will come back to this, that what is our journey so far, because in 5 minutes I can't.
I think, sir, that is a great idea. So we can request Dr. Anil Joshi to give his view, and then maybe we can request the PSA, and later on you can present it.
Yeah, whether sir is here.
Yes, Anil Joshi sir is there. Yes.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Namaskar, sir.
PSA साहब भी आ गए? Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
Sir, you are.
मेरे को सुनाई दे रहा है?
जी सर, बिल्कुल सुनाई
मेरा
दे रहा है।
अनुरोध ये भी था, मैं एक अनुरोध कर रहा था कि जब PSA साहब आए, तब मैं 2-3 मिनट उन्हीं के सामने अगर कोई बात बोलूंगा, तो शायद ज्यादा बेहतर रहेगा, जैसे आप लोगों का आदेश। मुझे लगता है कि मैं कुछ ऐसी बात एक सामाजिक कार्यकर्ता होने के नाते उस तरह से बोलूंगा, तो शायद बेहतर रहेगा, मेरा मानना है।
Okay. So what I will do, I will start that, whatever we have sharing my thoughts, and whenever PSA will join, please someone inform me when PSA joins, because since I will be speaking, so I may not be able. So I think I have already shared with you that this journey over these 8 weeks is a very enriching, emotional, and very useful for taking forward not only our the EST seed program, but in the total perspective, the STI interventions for the country. So over this 8 weeks and the 16 sessions, we could arrange 123 speakers to be here. 89 of them are new, who are not within our network. There were 90 institutions, 63 of them are new, who are not in our network. We could ensure participation of the 7 the ministries for the interministerial collaborations, 3 international organizations in the UNDP, UNIDO, and CRISAT, and around 2027 registered participants. There are around more than 21,000 attendees over different the social media, and this shows 160 social media posts we did to outreach. But we are not very happy with this number of the questions answered from the dynamics of that. So what we found over these 8 weeks, we find it out that is, the SETU is being, mainly made by the, NGOs and startups, the government and the ministry's help, and the SETU between the knowledge organizations of the society. So if I evaluate the progress, I just want to do it in this framework of lessons learned, opportunities identified, and the follow-up, the action. So here, the lessons, like the learns, if you see that this many different stakeholders we could bring together, the ministries of the departments, the knowledge organizations, the international organizations, the CSRs and the industry associations, NGOs, and the startups, other than our core support groups, many other NGOs we can bring, and a large number of startups. These are all indicators we could bring in this clinic. So the lessons what we have learned, that these are the please someone inform me when PSA is here. So we found it out that the cross-bridge collaborations and networking more knowledge organizations, NGOs, and communities. This is communities that it has been initiated for handholding, technology development, standardization, and the technology information disseminations. Many ministries, international organizations, new knowledge organizations, NGOs have come forward to take this concept of SETU in cross-bridging the science and society to cater to the emerging needs. We have identified many new experts, new institution, resource group, user group, new collaborators at global, national, local level to strengthen the STI-based local development. Identified many new or emerging technologies, priority areas, many technologically feasible and economically viable solutions for improving the livelihood and as well as the social entrepreneurship. New ideas and opportunities for the STI-based equity and inclusions we have discussed, and we have found out the way of new ways and new partners too. We have found that the technology should follow the societal requirement. The technology must improve the weakest link and utilize the strongest link of the livelihood system. But we could find that many challenges also. It's very difficult to attract knowledge organizations in this type of platform. So we have to find out a new ways to do that. Technical challenges to reach out to the real community and bring them for the dialogue for the culturally changing aspirations, and making the platform interactive, because there are some issues from our side, and in general people listens more, ask questions less in general. Then what we find that many new interventions, ideas has emerged over these 8 weeks. We found that for livelihood system spending, there is now the requirement of a land-to-lab program, and already NIF is doing it, so that we will partner with NIF to strengthen that. Program for the implement of the locally produced technology with the knowledge organizations. Many of the NGOs and the local organizations have their locally the available technologies, which can be improved with the knowledge organizations. We can have a program for that, for developing, improving that. For productivity and environmental performance optimization for sustainable development at the local level is the requirement at the field level. Need of appropriate technologies in diverse livelihood sectors is the need. We had agroecological mapping. It's a time for the livelihood system mapping now. Farmers' capacity building along with the agricultural universities of this is a new uses of the robotics in the agriculture. So these are the new opportunities we found that it can be done. Social entrepreneurships development. We found that there is a need of one-stop technology mart for the NGO and the companies, establishment of the virtual technology incubation facilities, local innovation centers. There are challenges in scaling up the technology because the manufacturing capacity at the local level needs to be built up. Certifications of the local products is the requirement, and I think Sir has already joined. Sir. Deputy here. Good evening, sir. We welcome you. we are like, but with your time, we will start your the markdarshan here, sir, and then we will come back. So I just I introduce. I will just stop my presentations here, and I will come back. So it is our distinct pleasure with Dr. Vijay Raghavan being here. Like and it's my distinct pleasure to introduce him. Dr. Vijay Raghavan, as you know, is a very the distinguished global level scientist, fellow of Indian Science Academy's Royal Society and the Padma Shri holders, and he is now our principal scientific advisor, showing and leading us so that the fruit of the science technology innovations can go to the most unserved in the country. So before we start, I just Dr. Anil Joshi, who is present here, Padma Bhushan, Dr. Anil Joshi, who is a member of our technical advisory group. He wants to just give you an overall what has happened over these 8 weeks. With your permission, sir.
Please, जरूर.
अच्छा, मेरी आवाज, अरे नमस्कार, आपको प्रणाम और नमस्कार. मुझे लग रहा है कि this is the first time we have been able to do something which was not happening before. मेरी ओपिनियन में मतलब एक बहुत बड़ा इम्पोर्टेंट काम हुआ है इस पूरी सीरीज की मीटिंग में कि सारे स्टेक होल्डर, नॉर्मली जो एक अगर हम गांव को लेकर ही कहें तो सारे स्टेक होल्डर को एक साथ लाने का मौका मिल रहा है, चाहे वॉलंटरी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन हो, चाहे नॉलेज इंस्टीट्यूट हो और कम्युनिटी, वी वर ऑल एट वन प्लेटफॉर्म. और बड़ी बात ये थी कि इंटरफेस, इंटरैक्शन और इंटरवेंशन हमारा किस दिशा में जाना चाहिए, ये एक बड़ा अच्छा डिस्कशन इस बीच में हुआ. और सबसे बड़ी बात जो ये भी थी, जो मेरी ओपिनियन में एज ए गांव का काम करने वाला 10 सोसाइटी के साथ जुड़ा हुआ, कि हम एक प्रायोरिटी भी समझ रहे थे, गैप भी समझ रहे थे, और आने वाला समय में वे अहेड हमको क्या करना चाहिए इस पूरी सीरीज में. और सबसे अच्छी बात यह है, इन्होंने सबसे बड़े अच्छा काम ये किया कि सभी स्टेक होल्डर्स को कहीं ना कहीं जोड़ दिया. अब ऑर्गेनाइज करने में अगर वो पीएलसी ऑफिस था, तो CDST था, तो सोशल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में इन्होंने हेस्को की भागीदारी रखी, तो जितने दो सपोर्ट के हमारे मित्र थे या डिफरेंट सिविल सोसाइटी के लोग थे जिन्होंने इनमें बड़ा काम किया मिलकर के. और मुझे लगता है कि ये एक तरीके से बहुत बड़ी बात हुई. और दूसरा जो एक बड़ा महत्वपूर्ण था कि पहली बार जैसे जो गवर्नमेंट स्कीम्स हैं या मिनिस्ट्रीज हैं, इनको भी ला करके किसी न किसी उसमें इंटरेक्शन जो डिफरेंट टाइम में और डिफरेंट डेज में हुआ, चाहे MSME था और पंचायती राज था, इस सबको ला करके उनकी भागीदारी भी कर लेना और उनके अनुभवों को और सिविल सोसाइटीज के अनुभवों को दोनों को जोड़ देना. क्योंकि पहले दिन हर एक इंटरेक्शन में मतलब यूनिवर्सिटी या नॉलेज इंस्टीट्यूट बोलेंगे, दूसरी दिन इन्होंने ये बात तय हुई कि सिविल सोसाइटीज ने जो काम किया है वो होगा. तो एक तरह की अलग पार्टनरशिप को डेवलप करने की कोशिश की, जो कि मुझे लगता है कि आज तक शायद होना चाहिए था, कि जो कभी भी नहीं हुआ. और इससे भी महत्वपूर्ण जो कि आप को अच्छा लगेगा, क्योंकि मैं आपकी कार्यशैली से परिचित हूं, कि अभी पूरा इकोलॉजी इंक्लूसिव इकोनॉमी हमारी कैसे जा सकती है, क्योंकि वही मूल मंत्र है सस्टेनेबिलिटी का, जो कि शायद अभी हम चूके हुए हैं. तो ये एक बड़ा था. और अच्छी बात ये कि एक तरफ न्यू साइंस वी वर टॉकिंग अबाउट, एट द सेम टाइम द कल्चर एंड द विजडम इश्यूज वर इक्वली इन्वॉल्व. ये सब चीजें कम्युनिटी प्रायोरिटी, कम्युनिटी वे ऑफ डूइंग वर एक्नॉलेज. तो ये चीजें मुझे लगता है कि एक कंप्लीटनेस, इंक्लूसिवनेस को लेकर के था, और एक 2 वेज ड्राइव थी जो मुझे लगा. एक तो यही था कि हम किस तरह से गवर्नमेंट के जो प्रयोग चल रहे हैं स्कीम के, उनको एक्नॉलेज करना, और दूसरी बात कम्युनिटी के एफर्ट्स, चाहे वो सिविल सोसाइटी के रूप में हो, उनको भी एक्नॉलेज करना और एक ही प्लेटफॉर्म पर लाना. मैं समझता हूं कि ये एक बड़ा अच्छा प्रयत्न था. रास्ते भी इसने खोले हैं, हमने भी बहुत कुछ सीखा. हमें लगा हमें ये लेना चाहिए, ये पर हमको काम करना चाहिए, इनोवेशन को आप डॉक्यूमेंट करते हो, लेकिन इनोवेशन को के सर्कमस्टांसेस पैदा करना, ये भी एक बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज है कि जो होना चाहिए इन माय ओपिनियन। तो इन सब चीजों को लेकर के एक कलेक्टिव कॉमन एफर्ट्स था जिसमें कि सबने मिलकर काम किया। मुझे आपसे अनुरोध शायद ये भी करना था, मुझे लगता है कि इसके माध्यम से कि कुछ एरियाज में जो कि आपसे अक्सर बातचीत भी होती रहती है कि वो इस रूप में कि पीएसए ऑफिस भी अगर इस रूप में इसी भागीदारी को मात्र ये आज के वेबिनार में या मतलब जो इससे पहले भी जो सीरीज भी उसी में नहीं, लेकिन अगर हम मिलकर के भी करें। और सबसे बड़ी बात ये थी कि जितने भी सीट के मतलब डॉक्टर दत्ता के नेतृत्व में जितने भी थे, सुनील अग्रवाल जी, अपने गोपी जी या रश्मि जी या इंदू जी, रजनी, ये सब लोगों ने एक सुर में इस भागीदारी, उनके अपने एक्सपीरियंस एज ए साइंटिफिक ऑफिसर गांव के साथ डील करके, और दूसरा एक्सट्रीम उनके नॉलेज इंस्टीट्यूट से भी थे। और ये भी बात हुई है कि एक इंस्टीट्यूट का बड़ी रोल टेक्नोलॉजी डेवलप करना है और एट द सेम टाइम सिविल सोसाइटीज का डिलीवर करना है, और इन दोनों के बीच के रास्ते और बेहतर कैसे बन सकते हैं, ये सब बातचीत हुई है। तो मैं व्यक्तिगत रूप से इस बात का आभार भी प्रकट कर रहा हूँ सी डिवीजन का, और आपकी दिशा, आपकी दृष्टि हम सबके लिए बड़ी महत्वपूर्ण होगी। तो मैं अपने इसी के साथ धन्यवाद देते हुए अपनी बात को समाप्त करता हूँ।
Thank you, Dr. Joshi, and I request, Professor Vijay Raghavan, the PSA, sir, for your margdarshan, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Datta. Dr. Anil Joshi, it's a great honor to be here with all of you. जो भी कहना था डॉक्टर जोशी ने कह दिया, ज्यादा कुछ ऐड करने के लिए है नहीं। मैं सिर्फ 2-3 और बातें बता दूंगा। एक तरह से वो जनरल बातें हैं जो काफी ब्रॉड हैं, और दूसरी तरफ से काफी ग्राउंड लेवल पे कनेक्टेड। एट द जनरल लेवल वी आर facing an extraordinary wake-up call today in the world during the pandemic. This is a lesson that hundreds of years of our approach to our environment and our society and our people has been to use nature, engineer nature, and understand nature to engineer it for maximum benefit for specific societies. Not maximum benefit for all of humanity, not maximum benefit for all of the planet, but for specific societies. जब तक आपका गोल है कि कुछ चंद लोगों या देशों या समाजों की प्रोग्रेस होनी चाहिए और बाकी सब अपने आप जो करना है करने दीजिए, तब तक आप उस सोसाइटी की प्रोग्रेस कर सकते हैं, but this will be at the cost of other societies, other people, disadvantaged people within your society and the world. But this has been the approach the world has taken for hundreds of years, maybe even longer. So keep this one point in mind. Keep a second point in mind that for thousands of years, जिनके पास ज्ञान है, उनके पास शक्ति है, और जिनके पास ज्ञान नहीं है, वो जिनके पास शक्ति है, उनको सुनते हैं, सुनना पड़ता है। So knowledge has been power for a long time. Now, despite ordinary people have over very deep and very valuable. Also, in other societies which did not use this approach to science and technology as something to be used to transform nature, there has been very deep understanding of nature. ये नहीं है कि ये अप्रोच सही है और या वो अप्रोच गलत है, या 500 या हजारों साल पहले जो सोसाइटी थी वो सोसाइटी को हमें जाना है, वो सब हम नहीं कह रहे हैं। जो हो गया सो हो गया, लेकिन आगे पूरी पृथ्वी को एज अ होल वर्ल्ड लुकिंग एट इट एज समथिंग व्हिच वी नीड टू सस्टेन, कैसे आगे ले जाना, ये बहुत जरूरी है। क्योंकि हम बाकी जानवरों से एक डिस्टिंक्शन है, वो है कि सारी जानवर, all life on earth struggles to survive. Humans, in addition, have, because of their knowledge and their culture and their language and their technology, have become not only able to survive, but they have become responsible for the whole planet. In other words, we have become, stewards for the entire planet. So जब हम science और technology देखते हैं, we have to look at it from the way of this stewardship. इसको कैसे किया जाए? When you look at operationalizing this program you have in seed, वो agriculture और MSME में, economic sector में, social sector में, and so on. इसमें सिर्फ दो चीजें हैं. At one level, we must get out of our mindset from the urban elite that our job is to tell people how to solve their problems. जब तक ये एटीट्यूड है, तब तक हम अपनी टेक्नोलॉजी डेवलप करते रहेंगे हमारे लैब्स में और कहते रहेंगे कि पता नहीं क्यों ये लोग अडॉप्ट नहीं करते. वो लोग क्यों इतना बढ़िया मैं न्यूट्रिशन पैकेज बनाया, उसको खरीदने के बजाय वो मैगी खरीदते हैं. क्या गलती है उनमें? हम ये नहीं सोचते कि क्या गलती हो सकती है हम में कि हम कम्युनिकेट नहीं कर पाते, हम पार्टनर नहीं कर पाते इनोवेशन. So we should see ourselves as one, not as separate from our villages and our rural areas. This is a big cultural challenge. In most other countries, the distinction between rural and urban is one of a sliding scale. यहाँ क्या हो गया है? Since independence, we have created an elite which is as rich, as powerful as any in France or Germany put together, and membership in the elite can come from others. ऐसा कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. But once you become a member of the elite, your thinking becomes that of the elite. And you then start telling others what is good for them. But we should move from this attitude where there is a salt and pepper distinction, where the pepper is the elite and the salt is everyone else, to grinding the peppers so that every bit of the elite is connected with every bit of the salt. Some amount of elitism is good. Deep domain expertise, understanding, looking at knowledge in a unique way, all that is not bad at all. But that elite must come from people around us everywhere and not from a subset. So if we do this, then to go ahead for the seed program, we need to look at it also not just as what we are doing, but how this is linked to other major programs. And when we look at other programs, such as the new education policy or the National Research Foundation, we should look at these programs so that they're all constantly put together. Otherwise, they will all be in their cells. इसीलिए मुझे एक सुझाव है, आप जरा सोच लीजिए अगर ये सही है कि नहीं. और ये कई साल पहले डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ बायोटेक्नोलॉजी के एफर्ट में काफी फायदामंद थी. वो ये थी कि जब फोल्डस्कोप की प्रोग्राम शुरू हुई, वो $1 की माइक्रोस्कोप है, उसको आगे ले जाने के लिए डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ बायोटेक्नोलॉजी ने एक माइक्रो ग्रांट स्कीम शुरू की थी. मतलब आपको 10, 20, 30, 50, 1 लाख, 50,000, 1 लाख रुपए की ग्रांट मिलती थी रिसर्च करने की. तो ये सब जो कह रहे हैं बाकी सब सेक्टर में, इसके साथ साथ हमारे साइंस एजेंसीज, DST, DBT वगैरह अपने आम आदमी को एक ग्रांटिंग सिस्टम करनी चाहिए ताकि उनको छोटे ग्रांट मिले एक्सप्लोर करने के लिए. उसमें एक दिक्कत है, आज की साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी पुराने समय की साइंस, पुराने मतलब मैं 10-20 साल के बारे में बात कर रहा हूँ, साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी काफी बदल चुकी है. 30 साल पहले अगर आपकी एम्बेसडर कार किसी गांव में रुक जाती है और प्रॉब्लम है, वो खोल के कोई भी बंदा बता देगा कि ये ट्यूब ठीक नहीं है, मैं अभी भाग के लेके आता हूँ, उसको ठीक कर देता हूँ, आपका स्पार्क प्लग क्लीन कर देता हूँ, कार्बोरेटर को साफ कर देता हूँ, चलेगी गाड़ी. आज की गाड़ी को अगर बोनेट खोलें तो पता नहीं चलता अंदर क्या है. इतने सारे वायर हैं, कंप्यूटर है, वो इंजीनियर को बुलाना पड़ता है महिंद्रा से, वो आएगा एक दिन में और वो बक्सा निकालेगा, दूसरा बक्सा डालेगा और ठीक हो जाएगा. यानी कि वो टेक्नोलॉजी इतनी बदल चुकी है, सॉफ्टवेयर से इतनी कनेक्टेड है, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक से इतनी कनेक्टेड है कि ये तो हम भूल नहीं सकते. So these grants should be connected to the availability and access of the latest technologies and understanding, and therefore must be tied with an education in your own language in addition to English. यानी bilingual education में इसकी समझदारी आनी चाहिए. तब ये सब प्रोग्राम जो आप कर रहे हैं उसके साथ साथ लोकल कैपेसिटी भी होगी, और आपकी जितना भी एडवांस कार हो जहां उसकी ब्रेकडाउन होती अनिल जोशी साहब के घर के पास, वहां कोई रिपेयर कर पाएगा बिना कोई दिक्कत. धन्यवाद.
Thank you, sir. Actually, in this Science Society and Setu, actually, whatever you have told, with the same spirit, we have tried to do it, the conduct and to find it out as solutions. Because the other way, the government programs we run, I think the outcome and the impact, the way we are creating, but especially the post-COVID world and the India and Bharat needs a different type of handling of it and solutions. So we are finding out that many of the the opportunities over these 8 weeks that we are trying to do in alignment with the Aatmanirbhar Bharat, and we will come back to you, sir, with a comprehensive the report and the implementation part. What we the first understanding what has come, that there is a need in the country of a mission mode science Society-Setu mission, where all the ministries, all the stakeholders of the startups, were the recent Setus, the non-governmental organizations, the CSR groups, the foundations, we should work together and can addresses the the part of the whole the systemic gaps, and probably like that will create the the technological pool which is according to our the livelihood system needs. And so that is the understanding what we have developed, and we have developed the many new ways and the new way of partnerships between different of the stakeholders. And we will put to you this this understandings and this new way and the new models of working. Other than that, many new emerging technologies taking into from the Ministry of Science and Technology. That's one of the our objective. Other than that, the new technology, the way of the technology delivery, that many new ways we have found. So thank you very much, sir, to be here. And sir,
unfortunately, I have to go, Devapriya.
Yes, sir. Sir, before you go, there is a request from our the Vigyan Prasad team that if all of us can at least they put our video on and they want to take a photo, and that that will be a that would be a moment to cherish for all of us, if it is possible, sir. Kinkini ji, you have to coordinate this. Yeah. Kinkini ji, you have to coordinate this.
There's a webcam limit, so my webcam cannot come on.
Oh.
Don't worry.
Okay.
Don't worry. My
photograph is not. Yeah, we will put it here, but this photograph you can take, and at the end probably we can take it. And sir, thank you very much for your motivating and words and the margdarshans. And as I've told, that we'll come back to you shortly with a roadmap to go ahead. Thank you again.
Thank you everybody. Bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So I will just start where I left, because it is at least good that he has shared his mind, and this gives us little bit of time just after my sharing of whatever you do. I will open it up and take your views, so that as we know, this is not a it is not a one direction, as we didn't want to keep. Please, can you Vigyan Prasad, can you please, my screen sharing opportunity, can you put it on, please? my screen, please. Yeah. So I think now it's a little bit of, like I can take some time because now main what we find it out at these interventions ideas that, we need now after the lab to land, we need a land to lab program which for the co-creations of the community and the scientists. And I've told that NIF is already doing. We will around them we can build it up. Program for improvement of locally produced technology that many of the the non-governmental organizations, the startups, the small the small companies, they make this technology which efficiency can be improved along with the knowledge organizations. We're thinking that there can be a dedicated program for that. Farm productivity and environmental performance, where again, PSA Professor Vijayaraghavan as well as Dr. Joshi has emphasized on, and we are also emphasizing that how it could be integrated. Then only we can create the examples of the sustainable development goal on the field. In need of appropriate technologies in diverse livelihood sectors. We need livelihood system mapping. I think there should be the national level effort should be there. Farmers capacity building along with the new technologies like robotics with IIT Bombay, Yantra, and the students can be the SETU here with agriculture universities. Now, social entrepreneurships development. What we found some. The idea there is a need of establishing a one-stop technology mart for the NGOs and the companies, virtual technology incubation facilities, local innovation centers, and this will also full-time equivalent workers. So if we can create the S&T workers more for our local level development, that will give a huge our systems alignment to our requirement of the social systems, and also will improve India's FTE requirement, which almost in order to catch up with a higher investment in S&T, we need almost the current 255 needs to be around 1200, almost 8 times we have to increase. There are challenges in scaling up of the technology, and we have found that there needs to be in the manufacturing capacity at the local level. Certifications of the rural programs, like we had yesterday, we have heard from my colleague, Mr. S.S. Kohli, that the Sati and the FIST facilities, this can be developed and utilized to that. There is an opportunity for many of these startups are doing, social startups are doing exceedingly in a way. They have to be, brought into our the entire ecosystem, the ecosystems, and working with the livelihood sectors with the different government NGOs and with different partners. Then there is a requirement of establishing linkage between industry, knowledge organizations, regulators, and authorities with focus on funding gaps for technology scaling up. This is very important because we need so today we have seen for creating amplifying business opportunity how Facebook, KPMG, impact investors, they are working, and we need venture capitalists, and the social venture capitalists to come into. So what the core of our approach was to like how to catalyze the cross-bridge collaborations. And we could find it out. This is some of the indicative work. This is not all. We will think of the report where everything will be there. We have found the cross-bridge interministerial collaborations, intra-divisional within the ministry, the department itself, knowledge organization, NGO startups, NGO, knowledge organization, NGO startups, knowledge organization, community knowledge organization, startup community, and CSR and the foundation. With you in the case of the agriculture, IMD, the first day, if you remember, then IMD NGOs, they have an opportunity for the establishment of the agricultural meteorological forecast unit in these NGOs. Then the Mahalanabi Center for the Crop Forecasting are ready to train the NGOs in the satellite-based crop yield forecasting. TriJAR is an ICR organizations for the jute and allied fibers. They have already given an the offer that the NGOs can work with them for the jute seed productions and the other fiber processing technologies all over India. in the allied sectors of animal husbandry and fishery, there is, in the NGOs, NGO Jal Jeevan